It was just after midnight, a humid summer night in Orlando. The Meridian Grand Hotel, a gleaming monument to luxury, slept quietly, except for one hallway on the 22nd floor. There, the silence was shattered by the metallic echo of an elevator bell and the hurried steps of law enforcement. Red and blue lights flickered against the marble, painting the corridor in dread. At room 2214, police found the door ajar. Inside, broken glass glittered on the plush carpet. The furniture, elegant and untouched elsewhere, was overturned in the living area. There were no cries now, just the flat, eerie stillness that always lingers after a storm. The officers moved in, flashlights slicing through the darkness, searching for answers that refused, at first, to appear. What they did find would raise more questions than it answered. A young woman, Alana Miccolis, lay unresponsive near the window, her expensive dress torn, her phone buzzing with unread notifications. Another woman, Megha Saluja, sat trembling on the edge of the bed, her hands shaking, eyes wide with something between horror and calculation. From this moment, the Meridian Grand was no longer a sanctuary of comfort. It had become the backdrop to a mystery, one that would grip Orlando, and soon, the nation. Minutes earlier, a 911 call had crackled through dispatch. A woman, frantic and gasping, claimed her friend had just collapsed.
I don't know what happened.
The call was brief, but something in the tone set off alarms. Officers arrived in under 6 minutes. Paramedics tried to save Alana, but it was already too late. Megha's story was simple. She and Alana had argued, she said, but then Alana had gone to the balcony alone. Megha, she insisted, found her friend minutes later, unconscious. She claimed she hadn't touched anything, hadn't even tried to move Alana.
I just panicked.
Megha repeated to every officer who asked. But the room did not tell the same story. There was no sign of forced entry or a struggle near the balcony. The mess was confined to the sitting area. Megha's face and arms bore faint scratches, but she refused medical care. She asked for water, then for her phone, then to leave. Detectives noticed the tension. Hotel staff remembered the two women arriving together earlier that afternoon, all smiles but recalled raised voices later that night. The picture was already complicated, and it was about to get much darker. With the arrival of crime scene investigators, little details began to nag at the police. Most glaring was the absence of any weapon. The wounds on Alana's body, shallow but numerous, suggested sharp trauma, yet no knife or sharp object was found. The minibar's contents were undisturbed and housekeeping confirmed no utensils were missing. Then came the matter of fingerprints. For a room so thoroughly disturbed, there were shockingly few prints and almost none belonging to Megha. Alana's prints were found on her own phone and on a wine glass. Nothing unusual, but the lack of other prints was odd for two guests sharing a room. Even the door handle was wiped clean. A closer look at Megha's clothing showed faint traces of blood, but not in the expected pattern. It wasn't spatter, it was more like transfer, as if she had tried to clean something up. Her shoes, expensive and new, bore traces of a hotel cleaning agent, which she could not explain. The forensic team's early findings whispered what Megha's words tried to hide. Someone had tried to erase the truth, but not well enough. Security cameras at the Meridian Grand watched more than just the lobby. In the hours before Alana's death, Megha was seen entering and leaving the 22nd floor 3 times. Each time she glanced up and down the hallway, moving with nervous urgency. On her final return, she was empty-handed. Before that, she had been carrying a small clutch bag. Detectives pulled Megha's phone records. That's when things unraveled. Multiple text threads with Alana were gone, deleted between 11:15 p.m. and the time police arrived. Forensic techs recovered fragments, messages mentioning, "I can't do this anymore, and I need you to be honest with me." Megha claimed she deleted them out of confusion, but that explanation rang hollow. Then, the bombshell, a 15-second voice memo, captured on Alana's phone, time-stamped minutes before her death. The audio was chilling, raised voices, a muffled struggle, Alana's voice pleading, "Please, Megha, stop!" Megha had told police there was no fight, only a misunderstanding. Surveillance and digital evidence were beginning to erode the foundation of Megha's story, brick by brick. By now, the police no longer wondered what happened. They wondered, why did Megha do it? And how did she think she'd get away with it?
Detectives zeroed in on motive. Alana had recently received a job offer in Los Angeles. Megha had not. Texts recovered from Megha's cloud account, missed in her quick deletions, hinted at betrayal and envy. You always get what you want. Read one.
With each new detail, the police timeline shifted. Megha and Alana had checked in at 3:12 p.m. spent the afternoon by the infinity pool, and were last seen together at the lobby bar at 10:37 p.m. Witnesses described them as tense, whispering fiercely at a table in the corner. The elevator logs showed Megha moving alone between 11:40 and 11:59 p.m. That was the critical window. In the days following Alana's death, friends came forward. They spoke of jealousy and secrets, of a friendship that had really grown toxic. Megha's ex-boyfriend told police of recent threats. Another friend mentioned restraining orders. The backdrop was conflict, not camaraderie. Forensic science had stripped away the last of Megha's defense, laying bare the truth that the room, and Alana's wounds, had always known.
I saw Megha hastily washing her hands in a staff restroom. She ignored me when I asked if everything was all right. Another maid remembered hearing frantic pacing above her head, right at the time of the attack.
Luminol tests revealed wiped blood traces on the bathroom towels and the inside of Megha's clutch, which investigators later found hidden in a service corridor trash bin.
The autopsy report would prove decisive. Alana's wounds were not consistent with a self-inflicted accident, as Megha first suggested. The angles, depth, and pattern showed a deliberate attack, with hesitation marks on the hands. Those were defensive wounds. Under Alana's fingernails, Megha's DNA was found. Toxicology confirmed no drugs or alcohol in lethal amounts. The time of death matched the period when Megha was alone with Alana, and the voice memo audio captured the fatal altercation. The Meridian Grand responded swiftly. New policies were rolled out, stricter guest screening, improved surveillance coverage, and mandatory security checks for incidents of violence. Guests were reminded that luxury is no shield against tragedy. In the end, the case was a warning, one that echoed far beyond Orlando's gleaming skyline.
I never meant for any of this to happen. I swear I was scared. She came at me first.
On the strength of the evidence, Megha Saluja was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The trial, streamed live, became a social media sensation. The prosecution played the voice memo, showed Megha's deleted texts, and had forensic experts walk the jury through every inconsistency. Megha's defense claimed she acted in self-defense, but surveillance and science told a different story. The jury took just 7 hours to return their verdict: guilty. Public reaction was fierce and divided. Some blamed the pressures of wealth, privilege, and toxic friendship. Others demanded justice for Alana. True crime podcasts and influencers pounced, dissecting every detail. Online, the story became a cautionary tale about trust, jealousy, and the dangers of ignoring red flags in the people closest to us. The hotel now runs annual workshops on conflict de-escalation and relationship safety, open to all staff and guests. The tragedy lingers, a shadow in every polished hallway, a reminder that beneath luxury's surface, danger sometimes waits. So let Alana's story be a lesson. Trust your instincts. Toxic relationships can turn deadly, even in the most beautiful places. Always listen to the small voice that warns you when something isn't right. It may save your life.
No one saw this coming, but maybe we should have.
Megha Saluja was sentenced to 24 years in state prison. The verdict changed the Meridian Grand, but it changed Orlando more. Hotels across the city re-examined their safety protocols, and guests became warier of the strangers and friends they traveled with. Alana's family spoke at the sentencing. They pleaded for awareness, for honesty, and for empathy.